get some consistent and predictable or reliable yards. Back to the Week 12 game, and now we've got 4 to the field. So we're talking about 3 receivers here, and the running back, they're all to the top side of this blue line. So when I say to the field, that's what I mean. Think a mirror image of the first play that I showed you, right, where you had 3 receivers down here and the running back set to that same side into the boundary. So you're going to get the same concept, a wheel by the man who went in motion, the receiver, except this looks like to me he's quite aware of where the football is going to go. And the intended receiver is not the tight end, it's the running back. I love this play because the running back is set up to the field, and then he's crossing into the boundary. It seems very obvious to me that they're trying to attack the boundary side inside linebacker. I think it's Devin Lloyd, who had a great year this year, don't get me wrong, but it seems pretty obvious to me that they're trying to go after him, force him to expand. So you're getting the receiver crossing the quarterback's face, McBride, a little bit higher concept, trying to get him to expand or maybe deal with this tight end route such that they can just flip it out to the running back into the flats. Easy access stuff. The downfield passing game, I'll try to focus on that in some other videos, to be honest with you. This was quicker for me to get done with. I do have at this point like 34 plays saved up, and it's just too much. I get to the point where I save too many plays. But where is this play going? Into the boundary. Who are you getting it to? An athlete, a running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, right? That's the idea. And then you have a receiver who's coached well to go ahead and try to at least front up the outside corner. There's a whole lot of guys there. Devin Lloyd is the first player to make contact. The point is, it's some common areas of attack, the boundary, quickly. Again, very reminiscent of Ben Johnson. I'm still very early in the conceptual analysis. It's one of my favorite plays here. It's very similar to a mesh concept. So a mesh, if you don't know, involves 2 drags, underneath drags. This route actually here is not accurate, to be honest with you. That's not the route that the tight end runs. I did that, for illustration purposes, because it's actually the running back who runs the other portion of the mesh route. And this is Jahmyr Gibbs stuff. I like the pass game to the running backs. There's this intentional aspect of getting the ball to the running backs against linebackers. I know we kind of heard the same thing from a John Morton standpoint last year, but it's very well designed. First of all, you've got the outside receiver up here is running all. Technically, it's the stacked receiver, so it's number 4. I think that's Dortch. We'll pull this back so you can see what I mean. When I say stacked receiver, it's the number 1, the front receiver who's on the line versus Wilson, who's off. Wilson is the guy who's running the drag, so they are just occupying the outside corner and the field side safety. Both of those guys get occupied by this route. So when this mesh works out and the running back goes underneath of Wilson, essentially you're talking about a pick or a rub concept. When he goes underneath of that, the linebacker, Foye Oluokun, really spectacular football player, has got a long way to go, number 1. Number 2, he's at, an agility or maybe burst deficit trying to get out there to the running back. The quarterback had to navigate some pressure. That's why the ball is a little bit late here. If you ask me, I think it's Josh Hines Allen down here getting some pressure on him, maybe walking that tackle back into his vision as Brissett looks down into the boundary. It's really well designed. It's one of the things that I see with this offense. Again, there's the corner and the safety that are occupied by number 1 or the guy who was stacked. Easy access for the quarterback, up to the top side to the running back. I like that aspect of this pass game so far. I'm a really big fan of this play design. It kind of harkens back to one of the few plays that I showed in the first Petzing's video. I only showed 4 plays in that video, and one of the things I talked about, and I kind of prefaced it a little bit here, is the running back alignment and how that relates to where they release. Sometimes directly out into the flat, sometimes on the edge, out into the flats. Sometimes you get a choice route, zig route, whatever people want to call it, angle route. In this case, he's going to cross face and work to the other side, and this is going to be a touchdown that's going to tie the game with, I think, 28, 29 seconds left. The play design is really cool if you ask me. So using the gravity of Harrison, again, he's beat Witherspoon twice on slot fade or corner routes, if you will. And so as this develops, watch how these 2 players react, corner and safety, number 1. And then in addition, this underneath route by, I believe that's Rondale Moore, or maybe that's actually Dortch again. I could be wrong. He's going to cross the face of Devin Witherspoon. So you've got 2 things happening here. It's a little mesh-ish, all right, by this route from the top side and then Wilson underneath. So there's options here for the quarterback. But This vertical or push by Harrison, he knows he's not getting the football here, goes to the outside shoulder of Witherspoon, number one. Number two, the outside receiver crosses underneath of Witherspoon and intentionally allows him to be picked up visually by Witherspoon. You can see he's actually looking there. That's all by design, if you ask me, to see if the outside corner will A, go with Harrison, which he does, and then if Witherspoon doesn't react to this, it's over. It's kind of mesh-ish, if you will, with the running back crossing the face of the quarterback. Maybe I over-explained that one. My point is I'm trying to kind of refute something I've read out there already on social media, which is the run game's going to be fine, but the pass game not. This is really well-designed red zone type stuff. I know there's red zone data that his offense hasn't been great in the red zone. I think you'll get some examples here of things that you should, feel confident in. Sometimes they involve their running back. Sounds good to me. Like, sign me up for more, targets of Jahmyr Gibbs out into the flats, or David Montgomery or whoever. I think this is really well designed. I think it utilizes players in a way that makes sense, right? The vertical press by Harrison ends up holding Reek Woolen, who's got a tendency to kind of play man, even if it's zone, if that makes sense. Witherspoon is occupied by this underneath route for a moment, and then the running back wide open. That's wide open in the NFL. Witherspoon, as quick and fast as he is, wasn't able to get to it. I think really what we're talking about is math.